Hey y'all, shut the F up. It's Fat Letitia season. Counting money and signing mortgages like a boss. From rags to bags, I got enough to divorce my dad. I got tips for your skinny ass. First, don't live where you rule. Queens rule over filth, but they don't live in the filth they rule over. Second, accuse those of which you are guilty of. You don't get to be a Fat Letitia rolling in the dough with your rolls of dough unless you sue Trump. You can't punch me below the belt. You can't even see my belt. Punch up Fat Queen. Fat Letitia season forever. I'm out.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Today is Judgment Day. Libs are getting it, man. They can all come get some. There's this psychotic feral lib that spit on DC attorney Ed Martin when she said that she knew who he was. That means she's targeting him. Well, she's been arrested by federal marshals, and she's potentially facing 20 years in prison and millions of dollars in legal fines. Throw the freaking book at her, then throw the key away. Please, maybe she could live on Alcatraz. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the exact same time, Letitia James, they have now subpoenas out for a grand jury for Big Tish. Oh, baby. Big wake-up call for Democrats who have skeletons in their closet. Someone's coming for you. Letitia James has been served grand jury subpoena information. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day in America. Department of Justice opens criminal investigation into Attorney General Letitia James for obvious fraud. She lied about her residence. She lied about the occupancy in her residence. She lied about who was living there. She lied about being married to her father, or did she? I don't know. They're real freaks. And she's getting roasted by her own constituents in a glorious clip that surfaced this morning. Letitia James getting absolutely bodied by the people who I guess she's supposed to serve. This happened at a town hall for Letitia and injected directly into my veins.
Yes, my question is for Tish James. Will you apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial? And how does it feel to know that you will be in prison for mortgage fraud?
Thank you for coming. We want to thank him for coming. We respect all opinions. Everybody knows those allegations are baseless. They're discredited. And so we want to thank him. Our next speaker.
Oh, we want to thank you. We just want to thank you so very much. The allegations are discredited, huh? Well, why don't we go to Sam Anitar, who's been a regular on our program, who has talked us through those allegations. A lot of these allegations, a lot of the evidence comes from independent investigative journalist Sam Anitar, who himself is a white-collar felon. He knows how people rig the system. He was on the program saying, no, sister, you're cooked, and they should start measuring the orange jumpsuits for you. Let's go. Just really quickly here, Sam. How cooked is Letitia James? Should we expect the handcuffs that we've seen on various high-ranking Democrat officials across the country happening last week? Should we expect that? I mean, will we actually get the handcuff moment here with Letitia James?
I don't know what will happen. I can't predict the future. Yeah. But all I can say is whether or not they handcuff her, she's guilty. The evidence shows that she's guilty. Most likely they are going to handcuff her, and most likely they are going to arrest her, and most likely they are going to indict her. But irrespective of that, the documentation speaks for itself. And if they can't bring a case against them, shame on them. They suffer the humiliation. I stand behind all of the research that I've done, and all of the research that I've done shows that she's guilty of mortgage fraud, violating New York state financial disclosure statutes, mail fraud, wire fraud, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a lawyer, but she is guilty. She is guilty of signing documents that contain false information that she financially benefited from, and she can't get out of that.
The F around period was back then. We are now in the find out period. Now, Plute, who's a friend of us, who's somebody that we've worked with before, he now works at HUD, and he's the individual who pushed for this to happen, delivered the evidence to the DOJ. He was on earlier this week saying, listen, this is an open and shut case. She's guilty, and now the FBI is investigating, and he knows. This is a man who knows where the bodies are buried. Let's go.
That makes it easy.
You also launched a public tip line to combat mortgage fraud, encouraging people to report any fraudulent activities. What's the fraud going on there?
We have significant mortgage fraud in this country. It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody is above the law. If you are committing mortgage fraud, you are a risk to the system, and we are going to take the appropriate steps within our statutory capability.
Now, speaking of this, you actually referred Letitia James for criminal activity to the Department of Justice. Tell me about that.
Well, the letter speaks for itself. I don't want to comment on any specific case, but I will say that, people claiming that they live in certain states that they don't live in, people claiming other representations that are maybe not necessarily true. These are very big concerns to the mortgage market. It doesn't matter whether you're a welder, a plumber, a politician, an attorney. If you commit mortgage fraud, you are a risk to the system. And if we see it, we're going to have to say something. And I encourage everybody, if they see mortgage fraud, say something. We will take the appropriate action.
Well, do you?
So that's a very generous way to say that. It's a very diplomatic way to say it. He's, of course, in the official capacity. Unfortunately, our friend Mike Davis is not in an official capacity as viceroy. But fortunately for us and this audience, Mike Davis was on yesterday explaining what may happen to Tish James. And just because we like doing a dunk from the free throw line here in our Jordans, we're going to play you Mike Davis before President Trump was even sworn into office on this program, predicting the future with perfect rings like a bell clarity. Okay, here's what Mike Davis told us 5 months ago about Tish James. Boy, it's like he knew something.
Just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights.
Well. And now you fast forward to today, the FBI has a full investigation, and the most respected investigators and federal agents are saying, no, she is guilty as charged. Now, Mike Davis, again, doesn't have an official role with the Trump administration, so he was on yesterday making quite a bit of news explaining where he thinks Tish James should serve her prison sentence.
I would say that she's either not doing well, or it could be this very wealthy and sophisticated woman is going ghetto to play to the jury pool, right? This is what they do. They go to their black churches and pretend like they're the victim of persecution. This is all racism. I would say that I'm very happy that President Trump is going to reopen Alcatraz because we could put Big Tish on Alcatraz and maybe we could plant hay and just let her go graze around Alcatraz. And so it would be a perfect place for her. She has a thick skin like an elephant. And I'm very excited for justice to come here. I'm very excited that the FBI's opened this probe. Thank you to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino if they had anything to do with this. But justice is coming, because think about if justice did not come here. If you have this very wealthy woman lying on a mortgage application and getting away with it, that seems like that wouldn't be a very effective deterrent for a lot of people who are applying for these home loans and lying on their applications. And so nobody's above the law, and Big Tish needs to be made an example out of, and she needs to go to jail. Like, he tried to ruin President Trump, and man, it's just boomerang back on her.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that's just the way it goes.